you. Hi, good afternoon, and welcome to the event Wellbeing Week. This is week 3 of a fantastic week, and we are really excited to have Michael Trew on board with us this afternoon. Hi, Michael.
Hi,
from Papershake Origami. And welcome to everybody that's watching live, and also welcome to everybody that will be viewing on demand. Michael offers online origami workshops for teams and corporates. He's a professional origami artist and director of Papershake. He has over 15 years commercial experience, and he's worked with a wide variety of clients, including diverse creative agencies. So Michael, we are looking forward to your session. I'm handing over to you, and we'll just sit back and enjoy your session. Thank you.
Great. Good. Thank you so much. Great to meet you all. It's very strange that I can't see anyone, so I trust you're out there. I'll give you a wave. If you want, give me a little message in the chat. Say hi. It'd be really great to have some interaction here as well today. So, my name's Michael. I've been doing origami for, about 25 years or so, and commercially since I was about 15, on and off, and then full-time about 10 years ago or so. So just as a little by means of introduction, the kind of stuff I normally do is quite physical. So things like shop windows. This is Pandora. This is more like paper sculpture. So this is for Michael Kors on Oxford Street. This is more kind of paper sculpture as well. So I like to mix things up, more kind of classic origami. These dinosaurs, if anyone's following the cryptocurrency, this was for Luno, platform, crypto trading platform. And some other exciting things as well. I'm kind of getting into this at the moment using 3D modeling software, but here's more kind of classic origami. So this is an elephant I designed many years ago. Lots of other things, fun things as well. So yeah, I've been doing this for 10 years or so full time, and over the last 18 months I've been leading workshops online. So I've had clients like Google and eBay, PayPal, American Express, all these kind of people, and also small groups, small teams. So yeah, very exciting. It's been I've been incredibly fortunate to be able to do the pivot as well. So very happy to be here. Just a little introduction to origami. I don't know if you can see that actually with the overlay there, but origami is the Japanese art of paper folding. Here are the characters. I spent a couple of years in Japan, so I've got some basic Japanese. So this first one is oru, this is the verb, and it means to fold. And the second one is paper, kami. So origami literally just means to fold paper. And this is one of the most famous kind of proponents of origami in the 50s, the 1950s. Origami has been going since 500 BC. It was originally in China, but then was brought to Japan and developed. But since the 50s, it's really taken off. And this amazing man called Mr. Akira Yoshizawa was one of the men who kind of brought origami to the West. So with that done, shall we fold some paper together? So you will need, I'm going to switch to my other camera. You'll need just some standard printer paper. I'm going to use colored, but if you've just got white, that's completely fine as well. I'm going to go for red for the first model because we're going to fold a very simple origami heart together. Now, I can't see, of course, if anyone is struggling, I'm going to go nice and slowly, but if you are struggling, feel free just to write a little message in the chat and let me know. I'm going to go quite slowly and quite gently. So don't worry if it feels a bit fast, either send me a message or I'm sure I'll repeat the difficult bits anyway. Okay, you're good to go. Let's just shake out our hands, warm up a little bit, and then we'll get folding. So we're going to begin. We're going to actually use this rectangle. Let me zoom out a smidge. We're going to use this rectangle just as it is. Normally we fold from squares, but first simple model. And start by taking that bottom edge and fold it up to the top and give it a good crease. And one of the nice things about origami is you can take your time. There's no rush. So maybe if you've been in and out of meetings all day, this can be a moment to have a little bit of a break. Okay, and then we're going to unfold back to our rectangle. And we're going to do what's called a cupboard fold. So for our cupboard fold, we're going to take that bottom edge and just fold it to meet the center crease. So this is kind of one cupboard door folding into the center. And of course, once you've done one, you're going to rotate all the way around and do the same on the other side. There we are. Now let's see if I can see the chat. I can see private chat and comments. I don't know if I can see any comments, but if you do have any comments, just pop them in the chat, and I think they'll get sent to me if you need any extra help. Okay, good. So this is our cupboard. We can rotate it so it's standing vertically. Here it is. Very tall one. And we're going to do the most important fold, or most important step, which is turning the paper over. So make sure you turn it over or things won't work. I'm going to zoom in a bit closer. And we're going to work on this bottom edge. So once you've flipped it over, I'm going to take this bottom edge and just fold up about 1 centimeter. About, it's not that specific. The width of a finger, maybe, depending how wide your fingers are. Just a little bit. And give that a good crease. Good. Okay, this is our next technical fold. This is called a squash fold. So to do a squash fold, we're going to take that edge and just make it so it stands up. So it's coming towards the camera, towards you. And maybe just watch me for a moment. I'm going to find a pocket on the left. Just put my finger in there. And then begin to squash from the outside edge. So it's super simple. It just squashes down. And if you can, try to get that edge as kind of symmetrical as you can, this triangle. I'm just going to change the brightness a little bit on this camera. Make it a little bit easier to see. Okay, good. So that is our first squash fold. We're now going to repeat the same on the right. So again, stand it up vertically, pop your finger inside, and you can just begin to squash down. And give that a nice, good crease. So you should have something that looks a little bit like this, hopefully. We're going to finish off in the center. This is going to be the top of our heart. So let's take this left corner in the middle, and that just folds left 45 degrees. And the right corner does exactly the same. Something like that. Good. Hopefully that's all working for you. This is going to be the top of our heart. So what we're going to do now is just rotate the whole thing all the way around. Now I'm going to zoom out a smidge. Whoops. Because we've just got a couple more steps to finish. Now, if you've got a pen to hand, something that's quite nice to do here, this area is going to be hidden inside the model. So if there's anyone who's kind of on your heart, or it could be something that you kind of hope for, it could just be like, kindness, or it could be patience, or it could be whatever it might be. I'm going to put my partner's name because they work in a primary school and it's very hardcore, very, very busy. So he's on my heart at the moment. So just pop anything you want on the inside. And then what we're going to do is take the opposite end and I'm going to fold it up. And what we want to do is cover this rectangle at the top. So you can see it's not going all the way to the top. It just covers that rectangle and give it a good crease. And then to make this a bit more secure, you can actually tuck it underneath. So that rectangle is now on the top. Something like that. Okay. A couple of steps to finish. I'm going to take the bottom edge and just fold it up a bit. And I'm going to do it something like that. This is going to determine the height of your heart. So something like that looks good. Take your time, make those creases nice and firm. And then to finish, I call this a paper aeroplane fold. I don't think it's a technical term, but there we go. We're going to take the right edge and just fold up at 45 degrees and the left edge in the same manner. It gets super thick here, so give it a good press. And there we are. So if you flip it over, you'll find your beautiful, iconic origami heart. So if you can, and if you've got the capacity, you can take a photo and slip it in the chat for other people to see how you're getting on. Something else that's good about this one is these last two folds act as a kind of a stand. So it will actually stand up on the table or in your hand. Oh, wait, there we go. So there's our first model, little origami heart. Okay, hopefully that went well for you. And of course you can remember these and try and fold them later. We've got about 20 minutes or so. So that was a nice little warm up. So I think we've got enough time for maybe 2 or 3 more models. So if you're good, just maybe flex your fingers out again and we'll move on to our second model. So this is going to be an Origami Fox. And if you like, you can also make it into a cat. So grab a new sheet of paper. Again, white is fine. Just looks easier on the camera for colored paper. Let's zoom out a smidge more. And we're going to begin this model by creating a square. So you need to make a square. So the easiest way to do that is have your paper in landscape orientation. And we're going to take this left edge and just fold it up at 45 degrees. And give it a good crease. And of course, what this will do is it will define a square on the left, and we've got this kind of excess to the right. So give that a good solid crease. And then what we're going to do is flip the paper over and fold that excess over to the right. So just kind of matching up the edge beneath. And if you've got scissors, you can cut along this line. But if you haven't, like me, just give it a really good press. And I'm going to show you a little magic technique for cutting this very neatly. So the best way to do that is to open everything and have that crease so it stands up. And we call this a mountain fold, because it looks like a mountain. And you can do the smallest little rip at the top. And then gently carry that rip down. And 9 times out of 10, you'll get a near enough perfect square. Something like that. Don't worry if you've got a little bit of deformation, let's say. Foxes are organic, so it's fine. Okay, good. Let's continue then. So we're going to start by folding along that diagonal. So you have a large triangle, a large kind of mountain. And this can be a little bit confusing with the orientation. So just kind of try to keep your paper in the same arrangement as mine. And we're going to start by taking the right side and fold it to the left. So just folding that big mountain in half. Here we go. Increase. So you've got another small triangle. Good. If you are there, we're going to rotate anti-clockwise so that you've got a base at the bottom and another small kind of mountain. And then we're going to look on the right, and you should see there are 2 corners. So if you haven't got the 2, if they're on the left, just flip it over so you've got 2 corners on the right. And I'm going to take the topmost and fold it to the left. Nice and easy. So just one of those corners from the right to the left. Sorry about the cars going past outside. Okay, a final couple of folds and we are done. We're going to flip the model over. So let's just turn this over side to side. And we need to repeat the same on the back. But this time it's going to be in mirror. So that left side comes to the right. Give it a good solid crease. Okay, So hopefully you're pretty much there. Might not be quite as neat, which is totally fine. And we've just got one, maybe two more folds. So let's take stock and just make sure you've got your 90 degree here on the left and your slope on the right. And with any joy, you'll have 1, 2, 3 points at the bottom right corner. So if you haven't, just kind of manipulate your paper, make sure you've got those 3 points. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to zoom in a bit closer. And we're going to take this whole bottom edge, and again, about a centimetre or so, maybe a bit more, just folding up parallel to that bottom edge. So I'm just folding through all the layers. And again, you'll still have 1, 2, 3 points here on the right, and they're going to become our fox's head. Okay, so you've done the head. Let's do a tail. We're going to take the tail, this top point here, and just fold that tail down however far you like, somewhere around about there maybe. And if you like, you can do a small tip. There's a little tip, just to create a kind of bit of life. Good. And believe it or not, that is actually our fox complete. And this is what I like in origami, where you do something like this, and then suddenly you do one move and it comes to life. So I'm going to show you the one move. Let's get it in the middle of the frame. So I've rotated it slightly, and at the bottom here, there are 2 corners. I'm just going to open slightly between those 2. Move my thumbs up, and you'll find there's a big piece of paper at the top you can begin to squash. Give that a good press, and then kind of just lift it out. And with any joy, you've got your little origami fox. And hopefully, even if you did get a bit lost, it's been fun to watch along. I think this is going to be recorded, so hi to everyone who's watching it past the date. And of course, you can rewind and replay and try and do it again. And for those who've done it live and want to have another go, if you can't remember it, you can use that as well. So if you've got a pen to hand, a couple of moments, and just go ahead and pop in some details, a couple of eyes, some whiskers, give them a bit of character. And some claws. So do share your creations in the chat if you can, if you want to. Normally when I do these workshops, we're on a platform where people can kind of interact a bit more. So if you're interested in origami workshops, it's a really great way of actually kind of getting people together, and you can have some good laughs and some good banter. So I'm doing lots over Christmas as well. So if that's something you're interested in, you can find me. I've got a Instagram flop up, but I think it gets in the way. Yeah. Oh, you might be able to see it down there. Anyway, you can find me on Instagram or just Google Papershake Origami. Okay, we've got about 13 minutes left. So I think we've got enough time for a couple more. And these are quite linked. These are quite similar models in a way. So the first one, we're going to do an Origami Swan, which is a real classic. In fact, if I just show you these slides again from Yoshizawa. You can't quite see it. Let's see if there's a better one. This bird, here it is. This is the most famous of all origami models. We're not going to make this one because it's super complicated, but it's one I sometimes teach. And it's a real sign of peace, longevity, of wholeness. And in Japan, it's often folded in thousands. So, yeah, it's a thing that people fold. Companies will fold, or schools will fold. But we'll make a different bird. And if you want, you can fold 1,000 of these. Okay, let's go ahead and make our square. So just the same way, left edge comes up to the top, and give it a good press. And then we're flipping that model over. Take the excess and fold it to the right. And grease. And then if you've got scissors, of course, you can cut along there, or for the rest of us, just a little rip. And folding down, cutting down. Okay. Good. So in origami, we have lots of bases, and we're going to start this model with a kite base. Oops. So for the kite base, let's start with the paper with that crease vertical. You can see it there in the middle of the paper. And we're just going to take this right edge to meet the center. So you can see it's just folding in. What I'm going to do is actually just draw that center crease. Easier to see. So that edge is just resting on the center crease. And then, of course, exactly the same on the left. Give it a good crease. And you can see this looks like a kite, sometimes called the ice cream base for other reasons. For those of us who are trying to lose lockdown bellies, it's a bit too tempting. Anyway, that's the kite base. Good. Okay, we're going to do something similar on the back. So let's flip the paper over. Again, super important. And let's have it with a point at the bottom. And we're just going to take the right edge and once again, fold that right edge in to the center. Let's see if I can zoom out just a little bit more. Okay, so that right edge is coming in again to rest on the center. Now this time, lift the paper slightly and you can see a corner comes to the front. So there it is. It's just coming out to the front. And then you can press that down. So that's a fun little move. Make things a bit more exciting. I don't know if we had a comment there. I've got some things flashing up on my screen. No. Okay, so we're going to do the same on the left. So if you didn't quite catch it, I'll do it again. The whole left edge rests on that center crease, and then just lift the paper, and the corner comes forward. And you can fold. Something like that. So this is quite a nice shape. And in fact, sometimes in there I do mindfulness origami workshops, and I like to kind of encourage people to enjoy the shapes as they're folding them. So this is quite a beautiful one. Okay, finally for this side, we're going to take this edge once again and fold it into the middle. And the same on the left. So we're kind of creating some texture, some feathers for our swan's body. And again, just press those folds nice and firmly. It's a bit easier to see. Okay. Good. So you should have something like this, a long thin ice cream. Final couple of folds, we're going to take that bottom point and fold it all the way up to the top. And this is going to be our swan's neck. So all the way up to the top, nice and easy. And then we need to give them a little head. So we're going to take the top point and just bring it down again some. And here you can be a bit creative. You can choose how far you want it to go. So give that a good press. Okay. So we've got a bit of a squashed swan. Yeah. So let's bring them to life. First of all, we're going to fold the whole model in half. And this feels a bit horrible. It's folding in half backwards. It's a bit like when people do that thing with books and they break the spine, which I always hate. And so you can see now the neck and the head are on the top of the body. So you're just folding in half backwards. And then we need to bring this neck upwards a little bit. So I'm holding the body with my right hand and just grab that neck and you can begin to change the angle. So here it comes up. I like to have exactly 72 degrees or something about there. And give it a good press when you like the angle. And of course, the same with the head. And there is your very simple origami swan. So hopefully that's come out well for you. Of course, there's lots of variations you can do for this one as well, which is a lot of fun. You can kind of play with the head or you can create more feathers. So yeah, there's lots of opportunities for a bit more imagination. Okay, we've got 6 minutes, and then I believe we've also got a live Q&A after this. So if you want to join me for that, I'm going to be online for about 10-15 minutes or so. So if you've got any questions. For those of us who've been feeling very confident, I'm going to do this one a bit more quickly. So we've just got 5 minutes. So if you want to just watch, you're very welcome, or we're going to go a little bit more quickly. So let's make our square. Love to hear how you're finding this as well, if you want to pop anything in the chat. So square in the same way, folding that excess over. And cut the excess off. Take your time with the cut, because you want to get it pretty square. Okay. And the nice thing about origami is it's physical and mental. So you're kind of thinking about getting the angles right, but you're also quite involved with your hands. Nice combination. Okay, so we've got one diagonal. We're now going to fold in half diagonally the other way as well. So one corner to the opposite and unfold, so that you get two diagonals, like so. Scottish flag. Okay, then we're going to take one corner and fold it to the center and give it a good crease. And don't worry, we're not doing the fortune teller, as you might remember from school. We're just going to do the opposite as well. So we're just going to do two corners to the center. Give them a good fold. Okay, then we're going to turn over to the other side. Again, turning over is super important. And the edge we just created, we're going to fold that to meet the center crease. And this is just like the swan. As you fold, lift slightly, and there you go. The paper comes forward, so it's quite fun. Pops forward. And again, give that a good solid crease. And that bit that's popped forward, we're just going to fold in once more. Like so. So you've got a zigzag. And if anyone's using kind of standard origami paper, white on one side, color on the other, you'll see beautiful patterns there. It's very satisfying. Okay, let's do the same on the other side. So rotating all the way around. And that edge, once again, folds in to meet. And then allow the corner to flip. And give it a good crease. And of course, finally, that corner comes into the middle. And in fact, if you're interested in Christmas workshops, we're also putting together kits. Easier to send in the UK, but we can send them around the world as well if you've got teams that you're interested in doing something like that with. Or you can just use paper as well, like this. To be honest, it works well. Oh, thank you. I got a message from Sina. Love the fox. Thank you. Great. Okay, final fold on this one. We're going to have it so that it's vertical. And bottom right corner down here, we're going to fold it to meet the top left. So let me just do it. It feels weird, so bear with me. Bottom right, all the way up to the top. They meet. And give it a good crease. It will feel strange. Normally, origami is quite nice where it feels nice. It feels kind of natural, but this feels a bit strange. Kind of bear with it. And believe it or not, that is our model done. And so this is quite topical in autumn because it's actually a kind of sycamore leaf, like a helicopter. So you can open it out slightly, bit of a dihedral angle, and just hold one of those. I'm going to get it in camera. Hold one of the wings, and you can see I've still got a bit of an angle. And now I know I can't see you, but we're going to do this on 3. So I'm going to drop it on 3. Are you ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. And with any joy, all around the world, wherever you are, there are helicopters spinning down to the ground. And of course, you can fold this from lots of different colors as well. It's quite fun to use 2-color paper and it all blends together. Good. And that pretty much brings us to the top of our half hour together. So hopefully that's been enjoyable. Thanks to the comments. Like I say, I'm going to be here for 15 minutes or so afterwards. But yeah, I'll pass back to Event World team. But thank you very much. I hope you've enjoyed learning a new skill.
Michael, that was amazing. And like Seema said in the comments, you know, the fox was super.
Have you got one to show us?
There's my heart. Unfortunately,
nice.
I mean, I didn't have colored paper, but there's my heart and there's my little fox that I drew on.
Yeah, sweet.
Yeah, so we really appreciate the background information about how, you know, origami originated and the demonstration from you. So we really appreciate you taking part in Event Wellbeing Week. And thanks to you, thanks to everybody watching live, thanks to everybody on demand. And the informal chat is on the other platform. So we'll see you for that shortly. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Brilliant. Cheers, everyone. Thank you.